I'm Renee, and this is Christina. We own Park and Oak Design, which we've had an interior design business for the last 8 years, and now a retail store.
Y'all have reached out in different ways and have lots of questions about design. So we thought that we would set up an opportunity to answer some of those questions and meet weekly about it.
On Instagram and TikTok, there are a lot of very specific questions and sometimes more general, but it's a lot more fun to have a discussion.
Sometimes we might bring a friend to help also answer some of your questions.
We have a team of 25 people that are more knowledgeable in different areas.
I think it's really tricky because people see the ceiling height as being so much higher than a typical traditional ceiling height, and therefore you think that you need to fill all this wall space. But truly, what we like to do is bring the eye down. And so either doing like a really dramatic chandelier in the center or creating a focal point, whether it be like a really tall fireplace moment that creates this like center spot to look at, or just applying millwork to the walls so that it has some interesting detail without necessarily hanging pictures at 18 feet off the ground.
It could be very subtle, just with interesting like millwork details, neutral colors, but it doesn't need to be a dramatic feature wall. It could just be all in the details. Rectangle.
Hate round rugs. I think you could say that. I do.
In most situations, a rectangle will probably work because it will fill the space better. Also create balance between the round table with a rectangular room.
We sometimes use square as well. It just depends on the overall shape of the room.
To fill the room.
Right. That's an obvious for us.
People call us moody all the time. So we are moody. And you can definitely be moody in Illinois.
You should be.
You should be. The
already
weather's
dark.
not great here. Sometimes you might have a smaller, dark space that doesn't have a lot of sun coming in, and instead of like painting it white or trying to brighten it, then you just go with what it is and then paint it darker. And that's what feels like it was meant to be.
Yeah, it becomes cozy and inviting.
We have been looking at battery-operated lamps lately because this is a struggle with a lot of people. If you can get a floor lamp closer to the wall, you can always cut a hole in your rug, which sounds terrifying if you're getting and investing in a really nice rug. But it is possible to actually run the cord through the rug, and then if it's close enough to the wall and not in an area of high traffic.
There's quite a few tips that I could offer. One, I think that's really important is to really hone in on your style and aesthetic that you're wanting the home to convey. The outside and the inside, they should relate to each other. But then also recognizing once you've honed in on the style that you're hoping to achieve or the look, recognizing the cost of everything and just doing your homework and researching what the cost of, if you fell in love with a light fixture in some picture, like just looking up, like how much is that light fixture, or what does that French range run, if that's something that you're interested in. And then just having conversations with your builder, showing them this picture of like what you're trying to achieve so that they also are providing you with an allowance that's in line with like what you're hoping the end result will look like. Because oftentimes clients will imagine their home to look like maybe something that we've already created, but their allowance isn't in line because their builder maybe didn't have all of the information that they needed to provide them with an accurate one. So educating yourself, going to the store, shopping for appliances, looking at lighting, use Pinterest, hone in on like what your favorite kitchen is, what your favorite living room is, what your favorite dining room is, and then it really helps make the process easier.
I would say hire a designer.
I think that's a good one too. Or the expert.
And not necessarily us, but someone that is experienced and has done this hundreds of times before, because they will have knowledge that you need to build a house, and it is worth it to not make mistakes, to do things the right way. It doesn't matter, which designer it is. I'm not necessarily saying you need to hire Park and Oak here. Anyone who has experience and works on new builds will have a lot of insight that's valuable.
The investment that you pay for a designer to help you with your home will essentially
be offset by all of the savings and any mistakes or anything like that, or anything that needs to be. wallpaper, that's something that you look at every day. This is your home. And then you feel you wish you would have done it. This is an overwhelming process that lasts sometimes a couple years. That's the best advice I can. Yes, this is something throughout my life. Somehow I've always loved homes that have really low ceilings. They end up having 8-foot ceilings because they're older homes. And
She's really tall.
And I'm tall, so I feel like I'm very close to it. And it is a challenge because you can't get the light fixtures that you want. You have to expand your horizons and be open to different options, like semi-flush mounts, and try to figure out how you can make a dramatic impact with less height, less room in a kitchen with storage. It's possible, but it is a bigger challenge. It's nice to have a balance between moody rooms and then a neutral space, right? So your entry might be neutral, but you could have a cocktail room that's a little bit moodier. Some people are okay with an entire home that is darker and moodier, but it's really up to the person. Most of our clients like 1 or 2 rooms in the house that have a deeper tone, that are used for entertaining, cocktail rooms that we do. And then the general areas, the entry, the hallways, the family room are all lighter neutral.
We typically call that like the spine or the heart of the home is like that lighter, brighter, and then these like, offshoots can be that deeper hue, darker moodiness.
Which is why we like a lot of walls.
Yes,
it's like the open concept is hard then, because you want every space to feel different and to have a different mood in each room that you go.
Your home actually feels larger when you have more rooms. There's so many people that just want an open concept, kitchen open to the family room, open to the dining room, open to all the things. And there's no separation of church and state. And those little people that you want to have eyes on now get big real quick. And then they're watching something on TV while you just need 5 seconds to yourself while you're cooking or something. And all of that is in the same space. I think from like a everyday functions standpoint, it's nice to have a little separation, but then to Renee's point about just paint, it makes transition so much easier and so much nicer and cleaner.
I think people quarantining changed all of that, because now whenever you go into someone's house, like, I need walls because you're home so much and you need your own separate space. So it does seem like it's going back to having individual spaces, an office, a homework room, a separate dining space, separating even the kitchen and the family room, which, you know, some people like to have that open for little kids, but it is nice to not hear the TV all the time.
And it really offers an opportunity that people don't always think about until after there are no walls and only windows, that you can't do a gallery wall, or you can't have a moment with like a big chest or something because you have no walls. So having walls allows you an opportunity for more design elements too.
I have a color disorder.
Certainly does.
So I like to analyze all of the paint and take it around in different light, in different spaces, and to see how it looks. And it always looks different in every space. So I do think that it changes for each home, for each person that's using it. But in general, we typically like warmer neutrals, that it just feels better to walk into a house that feels warmer. So I know a lot of people live in like the grayish area, and some people lean grayer, some people lean more beige. We like the warmer tones. We just painted our new space that we're opening, Benjamin Moore White Sand, which is a great neutral color. And it leans probably a little bit more beige. It has a great feeling to it.
We'll see you next week.
Cheers.